פודקאסט מדברים קריפטו חוזר עם סדרה של פרקים שהוקלטה ישירות מתוך כנס בלוקצ'יין אקספרט קונפרנס 2025. הכנס התקיים ב-15 בספטמבר ומשך כ-1,200 מבחירי התעשייה, הרגולציה והמגזר הפיננסי. כולם הגיעו כדי ליהנות מהתוכן האיכותי ביותר ומהנטוורק המשובח ביותר שאפשר למצוא בישראל. אם אתם מעוניינים לקרוא את הסיכום של הכנס, הוא מופיע לכם בתיאור הסרטון. ובינתיים, אתם מוזמנים ליהנות מהפרקים שהונחו על ידי ג'ני קרפוסנוי. ג'ני למעשה היא בלוקצ'יין AI Growth Specialist, היא עוסקת בתחום הקריפטו והבלוקצ'יין בזה מספר שנים, והיא זכתה לארח מספר בכירים מהתעשייה, אחד מהם תכירו עכשיו, על הנושאים החמים ביותר ששווה לדבר עליהם. אני מזכיר ששום דבר שנאמר בפרק לא צריך ולא אמור לשמש כהמלצה לפעולה או כייעוץ השקעות. אתם ילדים גדולים, אז קבלו את ההחלטות עבור עצמכם, ויאללה, בואו נצא לדרך.
Hello, I'm Michael, the co-founder of Paris Blockchain Week, which is going to happen next April 15 and 16th in the Louvre Museum in Paris. And I have the huge pleasure to announce that Professor Noriel Roubinie is going to be a speaker during the conference, and I have a pleasure to ask him a couple of questions today. Professor, welcome, and I have a couple of questions for you. So, you've been one of the most outspoken critic of crypto, right? And yet, you know, at Paris Blockchain Week, we gather the builders, the regulators, and the investors shaping digital assets. And let me ask you directly, what is your current view on crypto today, and is there anything that can happen that can change this view?
Well, I would say that I would separate the future of money from the future of finance. For what money is concerned, I think the idea that you would be replacing anytime soon fiat currencies with something like a cryptocurrency, like say Bitcoin, is fading away. Why is fading away? Everybody's talking, of course, about digital money, but what's going to be digital money? It's going to be either a central bank digital currency and or a stable coin that is a digital version of fiat currency, and or tokenized deposits that are essentially another way of digitizing fiat, and or fintech solutions that are actually quite viable payment solution today, work very well. You know, Alipay, WeChat Pay, everywhere is using China. Nobody's using any more cash. In US is Venmo, PayPal, Square, and you name it. So whichever form digital money is going to take is going to be essentially a digital replication of fiat. I mean, even a country like El Salvador that made Bitcoin as a legal tender, only 2% of real transaction occurs with Bitcoin because of lots of reasons why people don't want to do those things. So Bitcoin as a currency, I don't think is going to replace fiat, but digital money is going to be the future of money. And for financial services, I think that DLT technology have more promise to make the provision of financial services cheaper, more efficient, whether it's clearance, settlement, whether it's custody, whether it's doing on DLT repos, issuance of tokenized assets, real and financial. So there is a future of using the plumbing of this kind of technology for a better provision of financial services. I think that's more promising.
Thank you. And with debt, inflation, and financial instability rising, do you think digital assets can play a serious role in the global financial system, or is it just another bubble?
No, it's not just another bubble, but I'm saying if you have too much private and public debt, eventually you're going to have an economic and financial crisis because it's going to be going bust. And the existence of digital asset doesn't prevent things like excessive leverage, debt accumulation, private and public, from occurring. Those are fundamental problems that cannot be resolved by financial intermediation. What I think is true is that some of these credit boom bubbles and busts have been driven by bad policies and by wrong incentives in the financial sector. So if we can make, for example, borrowing and lending based on AI, so it's not an individual loan officer decides whether to give you a loan and at which interest rate, but it's actually an AI-based system, whether it's DLT or not, that is based on big data, maybe we'll have less of those credit cycles where in the past that led to financial crisis. So technology can provide you financial services with lower cost, but also lower risk. And therefore, the risk of severe financial crisis may be reduced if we're using technology, including DLT technology, for better provision of credit.
Thank you, Professor, and looking forward to host you during Paris Blockchain Week on April 15 and 16 in the Louvre in Paris.